Hello everyone, it's Omae and welcome back to the brand new video. So today we are looking at the super evolution of Legend Reiju. She's now super evolving, going from a int powerhouse cerebral unit, horrible class combination, to a quick free spirit cerebral unit. This is massive. She also benefits from having the new tag system where even former royalty gets the tag. So this is massive, not just for herself, allowing her to fulfill requirements for other royalty characters, but also so many other meta characters got this royalty tag, such as Nikabani Kuma, as well as all these other former royalty units. So there's a lot of support now for royalty coming in, and this unit is definitely going to be seeing a lot of play. But today I want to discuss, should you be keeping an unsuper evolved form, and is it worth running this unit on a team with 12th anniversary Blackbeard and the eventual LOKI, who we expect to also be a quick free spirit unit. We'll discuss all this in both PvE and PvP aspects. But first off, let's just take a look at Reiju before the super evolution. There's actually quite a few abilities here that not only just changed but are straight up removed, right? So this unit, she did also get the former royalty tag. So the unsuper evolved form, I actually think we'll see a bit of play now thanks to her tag introduction, because she's actually doing quite a bit here. She's giving a 3-turn attack boost, albeit it's a bit of a low multiplier, but it's still helpful, and it's for 3 groups of units. But then this is the best part here. She gets around both paralysis and poison slots, and also removes irregular turns of paralysis, right? So this is great. And then she also gives the enemy Reiju poison. Of course, it doesn't go through immunities, but either way, it will still proc some of your conditional boosts, right? So great special still. She can't be used as a sailor for her super special, so don't really worry about that. You're not using this character as a captain. She has pretty bad abilities, right? Now, remember, she is not getting level limit break upgrades to her unsuper evolved form, even though it's somewhat of a side grade, right? Just a few things to note. This attack boost in the super evolution becomes a color affinity, and she still removes poison, but she no longer removes paralysis in her super evolved form. So those are a few things to consider when weighing the options. Should you keep an unsuper evolved copy, right? But Vivi in a super evolved form, she is having somewhat usable of a captain now, but I still don't see it seeing play. Compared to Vivi from last month, this unit has a pretty bad captain ability upgrade. The main idea here, same as her unsuper evolved form, is automatically activating her special ability. Lustrous Devilish Woman changes now into Alluring Butterfly's Invitation. And also I do have the special animation here. So yeah, it's a bit of a Guna animation here, but it's quite a long special as well. Pretty good animation quality for super evolution, right? But anyways, what she's doing in the captain ability is essentially just auto activating her special. Whenever you get a status effect, the enemy gets a status effect. It basically activates in a lot of situations, right? It's very wordy, but essentially any type of poison effect you activate will convert into a Reiju poison. Now, Reiju poison really doesn't see much play. It doesn't allow you to cheese like Super Boss or Kizuna like that. They have preventative measures. There's really little content that Reiju poison actually sees play. So that being the unit's main gimmick is definitely what hinders it, especially in the captain effect, because I mean, yeah, you really don't need this, and especially it doesn't go through immunities. Yeah, Reiju poison is just not that powerful, right? But if you are inflicted with poison or progressive poison from the enemy, so this does not include poison slots, right? Or another status effect is applied to the crew. So this includes Bind, Despair. I'm pretty sure icon debuffs don't count, but either way. And then if you apply any status effects to the enemy, such as set target status, which she actually does apply in the special here, even without level limit break. So there's a lot of ways for this to proc, and what it will do is on the following turn it will activate her special automatically. Now this is kind of cool. and we'll discuss how good this is a bit later on. But at the end of the day, I don't think there's much value in her special activating automatically. She doesn't seem like the kind of a character where you need to use the special twice. She's already providing a 3-turn conditional boost here, so most of the time that's all you really will need. You don't need to activate her across the quest multiple times, and there's no utility here. The only units getting cooldown are the German 66 and royalty tag units, so it's just a bit iffy. There's no utility here besides the auto special activation. It would have been cool if she had an effect to allow poisons to go through immunities. That would have made her much better to run as a captain. Regardless, what her special is going to do, and by the way, the level limit break for the captain, level limit break 3, it really doesn't do much. It just slightly buffs the multipliers by 0.25x and then adds the cooldown for your German 66 and royalty units. So I mean, as I said, we do have a lot more units now with the former royalty tag, which does fall under royalty. It still gets all the buffs when royalty units get buffs, right? So these units will benefit heavily from the cooldown, units like Nika, Bonnie, and Kuma. So that's kind of cool, but at the end of the day, you really don't need it. There's no massive utility added with the level limit break. But the special, I believe you do kind of need the level limit break upgrade for it to be good. So before the upgrade, level limit break 0 boosts quick and int units color affinity by 3x for a turn, removes all poison effects on the crew, so we're still getting around poison slots and poison status effects, venom as well, and then reduces crew's despair by 7 turns. So this is great, and as I said, the attack boost was converted into a color affinity of 3x only for 1 turn, right? The really cool part here is that we get quick and int units getting boosted, not just your quick, cerebral, and free spirit. That's kind of cool. And that's also something I didn't mention about the captain effect. It's boosting a lot more units now since we have quick and free spirit added. After that, she will give the enemy Reiju poison, which, as I said, it doesn't go through immunities. Yes, it's doing a massive HP cut, but this does not work through the enemy's ability to resist HP cut. This is an effect that even PKA has now, with the high level 300 having almost 10 trillion HP. They don't allow HP cuts anymore. HP cuts are not allowed. They do 0 damage, or 1 damage should I say. So the HP cut from Reiju poison isn't really that helpful in the content such as PKA and Kizuna. And as I said, not going through immunities, it's just such a bad effect for that, bro. Like, come on. Despair is great. The color affinity should have been 3 turns even after the limit break expansion, or level limit break upgrade should I say. It's not 3 turns. Poison is great, but they removed the paralysis. They basically changed paralysis utility to despair utility, and if you're gonna do that, might as well make it remove despair completely, not just 7 turns but 99 turns. That would have been cooler. It would have made more sense, right? Beyond this, one thing I forgot to mention, but besides doing the HP cut with Reiju poison, it also gives you healing of maximum HP. So this honestly might be the more usable effect from Reiju poison. Getting a healing is actually a lot better nowadays because we have so many different effects trying to reduce your HP to 0. So that could be cool, activating Reiju poison early on. Of course, you would have to activate her over multiple stages every time to inflict the enemy with Reiju poison. So that could be the usage for her captain effect, reoccurringly activating that effect, giving the enemy constantly Reiju poison, which can give you 40%, 60% healing, which definitely can help you if stage 3, for instance, gives you a massive HP cut on a PKA, right? But at the end of the day, it's not really worth it to do all that work just for more HP. Of course, you can get around resilience, which is another form of implied utility that I didn't discuss previously. And then, if 4 or more German 66 royalty, so 3 units besides herself, because royalty former does count towards that. I also need to discuss these tags in a separate video, like the new update. It can be very confusing, the way it was worded in the notice, right? but 3 units besides herself, it will give the enemy set target status. This goes through immunities. It's just a free extra 2x damage instead of 1.75x. That's nice for your quick and int units. Always nice to see set target status. It's such a powerful ability. It goes through immunities. It's reliable, amazing effect. And also you can use this to just charge your cooldowns, right? If you're using it on stage 3 or 4, you can kill enemies with units that have low cooldown, and they will get 2 turns of cooldown. Well, actually only 1 turn from this set target. Usually it's 2. Only 1 turn of cooldown is being reduced here, but regardless, it's kind of cool. But the special after level limit break gets this effect added. If you have an attack and orb boost before using the special, gives you a 3 turn 3x conditional for not just poison, which includes Reiju poison and venom, also for increased damage taken. So this is a really excellent conditional boost. Great multiplier over multiple stages for 2 different debuffs, and increased damage taken is very common nowadays, so this is great. So the rest of the special is basically the same after that. You still need 4 tags. No tags were added. The set target status still has the exact same power and cooldown reduction. So when it comes to level limit break, I definitely think you need it, because otherwise she's not doing much. But after the upgrade, she's giving you color affinity, conditional boost for multiple stages. She's getting around poison slots, despair, enemy resilience by giving poison. She's healing you so you can survive certain instant burns and death hits, and she's giving the enemy set target status. So pretty good. But then the super special, this is what we really need, because it will help you to get the conditional boost. And overall, it's a really solid ability here. If you have 3 Germa 66 and royalty characters on the crew besides herself, so it is a hefty requirement. But as I said, we got massive upgrades with so many characters getting the former royalty tag. Amazing, right? And this will give you an overrideable attack and orb boost of 1.1x for 2 turns. Remember, when you use another attacking or orb boosting special after this, regardless of how many turns it is, it will inherit these 2 turns. So even if you're using a massive like 5x attack boosting special that gives you an attack boost for 1 turn, it'll actually be a 5x for 2 turns, because it inherits this turn duration. But also for units like versus Zoro, who is actually pretty good synergizing with this new Reiju, he benefits extremely from overrideable buffs. There are so many units nowadays that actually benefit so much from overrideable buffs, because in Zoro's special, he gives you a 3.25x attack boost for 1 turn. But if you have an attack boost when the special is activated, gives the enemy set target status, right? If you have an overrideable attack boost, you get both his attack boost and the set target status. Now for Reiju, it's obviously not that great synergy, because Reiju already gives set target status in her special. But the way that that super special works is extremely powerful. I mean, you could still use Reiju in a separate stage with her special, and then activate her super class alongside Zoro's special in a separate stage. So you can use this, get that overrideable 1.1x attack boost for 2 turns. Zoro, you get his 3.25x attack boost, and it becomes 2 turns thanks to the overrideable buff. And then if you have some way to extend that by 1 turn, this can become a 3 turn multiple stage attack boost from Zoro's special, but you'll also get that set target status to activate. Amazing, right? But then she'll also give that for an orb boost, which is amazing, and then give you a chain multiplicative buff of 1.5x for 3 turns. Amazing. This is extremely powerful. Chain multiplicative buff is, besides chain boundary, the strongest chain buff in the game. Also, it's easily the most rare of the chain buffs, arguably, besides the very strange chain carryover buff, which like 2 units in the game have, like this random Blackbeard Kizuna Blackbeard here. Yeah, there's this really weird chain buff where you carry over like 10% of your chain from the previous turn, and it stacks with all the other chain buffs, but no one has that nowadays. It's also pretty weak from what we have right now, but that's besides the point, chain multiplicative is extremely rare, and it's also way more impactful than chain additive buff. So this is great. One of the best super specials from modern day super evolutions. This is really powerful, and as I said, even though it is quite the difficult condition, we have so many more royalty tag units. We'll get so many more, especially through LOKI. So quite happy about that. The supportability stays the same, of course. Super evolutions do not change supportabilities, right? But let's talk about her rumble stuff. And if you want my opinion, I do think it's worth keeping the unsuper evolved form. She's doing very different things, giving that 3-turn attack boost, getting around paralysis slots, as well as regular 99 turns of paralysis even, which is very different from her super evolved form. Of course, also the class change and type change, and the royalty tag makes her much more usable. I do think this unsuper evolved form will see a bit more play, and it is worth keeping a copy. But if you are someone who's struggling to even get the 6+ Reiju to level them or break 3, definitely just feed all of your copies to max out the 6+ form. It's way more viable. But if you are someone who has the 6+ Reiju maxed and you get an extra copy from the rumble season, then I would recommend to save that as the unsuper evolved form. So there's my take on that. So Reiju in PvP, she is going to be a support style unit with extremely high defense even before the rumble key, as well as a pretty average speed of 149. She's doing 2 normal attacks, which actually is perfect for 12th any Blackbeard in Grand Party, who charges his GP burst from normal attacks. These power attacks will not charge Blackbeard's GP, and a lot of units nowadays only have 1 normal attack in their pattern. So having 2 normal attacks is going to be much better for Blackbeard, of course. And normal attack is 0.3x the unit's attack stat, including attack up buffs, and then power attack is only 0.6x. These differences are very minuscule with how high defense is with modern day teams, right? So it really doesn't matter that it's a normal attack with lower multiplier. Having a charge that GP burst of Blackbeard more often is going to be way more impactful. She's also healing in a small range AoE, so that's pretty cool. She's targeting the closest enemies, quite stock standard, and then also is evading dot, which is quite rare a resistance effect, but it does make me a bit concerned that she's not evading action bind, special bind, these much more common and annoying debuffs. But regardless, it's powerful. Dot, I am a dot advocate. It is extremely powerful, probably the strongest debuff in Treasure Cruise in Rumble, so evading that is pretty cool, right? And then strength damage reduction, cool. Unfortunately, it's not class-based. I would prefer class-based damage reduction, but it is what it is. So I'm just going to go straight into her post-level limit break upgrades. Remember, her passive upgrades at level limit break 2, and then her special upgrades at level limit break 4. So it's much easier to get her full rumble potential than it is to get her max PvE potential. You only need 6 duplicates to get her max rumble stuff, 9 duplicates for her max PvE stuff, right? So her passive is going to give your quick, cerebral, and royalty tag teammates attack up, speed up, and defense up of level 7. Level 7 defense up passively. Not just to royalty, to also quick and cerebral class. It's unbelievable. Level 7 attack up is almost a 1000 increase, speed up of level 7. I just can't believe they're giving this high of a level for speed and defense, because these are like the most impactful buffs in Rumble. Like, look for high speed and high defense up to see how good a unit is, because these make the biggest difference. So speed up of level 7, that's going to add 35 to every unit's speed stat, and that makes a massive difference. Defense up of level 7, it's 25 defense per level, right? So it's 175 defense increase. That's what most units' base defense stat is, higher than a lot of units. 175 just added passively, no strings attached. And then if 3 or more royalty tags on the team, then team gets HP up of level 7, which is a 1750 HP increase. And then after receiving damage up to 4 times, strength enemies get a level 2 speed down. So up to a level 8 speed down alongside the massive speed up buffs, your units are going to have insane priority in the queue. Your enemies are going to have very low speed at a certain point in the battle. Now, since she has such a high defense stat at base and you want her to take damage, she might be a unit that you put in that middle slot to take the most hits, right? It makes the most sense because she also gives the enemy CT down and herself 20% CT reduction, and she's already quite a low CT unit at 26 seconds. So yeah, she definitely is someone you want to put in that middle slot because this is really powerful. I mean, when we just look at the raw levels, this is impressive. She's doing a lot of buffing, but also debuffing at the same time. And I mean, this is quite common with nowadays Treasure Cruise Rumble units. They can't just be doing one thing. Yes, this unit is a support style character at its core, giving you massive buffs, but it's also giving you a bit of debuffing, which is great, and also some utility in that CT reduction. So that's cool. I think this is amazing. Up to 80% CT reduction in total for herself. A level 4 speed down, which is 12% extra charge time, which, for instance, on Reiju, if she had level 4 speed down, that would make her take 3 seconds longer to charge her special. So her special at level 10, after her level limit break upgrades, is targeting quick and cerebral class and royalty teammates for a 1250 I think, let me just calculate this in my head. No, it's a 625 attack increase for 25 seconds. That's pretty good at duration and not a bad attack increase. Defense up of level 6. Wow, I mean, 150 extra defense on top of the level 7 in her passive. Bro, are we kidding me? That's amazing. Targets all enemies for dot of level 6. So, I mean, I always love to explain dot because it's just such a broken mechanic. So dot, a few things about it. It is based on the enemy's maximum HP. It takes 5% of their max HP for every level of dot every time they successfully perform a normal attack. So for instance, Reiju here herself, in her behavior pattern, she's doing a heal here. So if Reiju herself got dot, which I mean, she can't get it because she's evasive to it, but in the situation she got dot and she's affected by it, it would not proc on the heal because it's only when she does a normal attack or a power attack or a full attack. She has to do an attack, she gets that dot procced, right? So it is very powerful. Some units are not affected by it as much since they have mostly heals in their behavior pattern, but regardless, very often, oh yeah, and also if the enemy has miss percent up, which can cause them to fail a normal attack, that will also stop them from getting dot damage. So in some situations, it's actually ideal to have miss percent up, or as some people call it, accuracy percent up, or percent down, should I say. I digress though. Either way, once a normal attack successfully occurs, that 5% will be taken from the enemy's HP. But remember, it goes through defense up, which is so powerful. It doesn't go through shields though, but it mows down shields so easily. Shields are easily one of the most broken defensive effects in the game right now. It's still really powerful, and the dots just goes through it so quickly. It destroys enemy shields, breaks that down, but most importantly, level 6. And I mean, just for comparison, like, this is the second highest dot in the game. This is the second most powerful dot effect in Treasure Cruise. Level 3 is the common one, which is 15% of max HP. And Reiju's inflicting that for 25 seconds, and she's reducing her own CT dramatically with her passive. So she's getting that effect activated very soon. Before the enemies use their specials, they're going to be doing normal attacks. And bro, this team is going to be unbelievable, man. We're calling back to another Blackbeard unit if I can find him. Versus Blackbeard, my goat. He's easily the strongest dot unit in the game because he gives what? Level Level 10. Yeah, level 10 to 3 enemies for 15 seconds. So it's 10 seconds shorter than Reiju, but this will take 50% of the enemy's HP when they do a normal attack. And he also delays them, so it's much more likely that they'll do a normal attack and not have their special ready. But overall, this unit's still just a busted defense or debuffing unit, right? But Reiju, I think, can they synergize? I mean, Blackbeard usually goes on teams even if he doesn't synergize. He's just that guy. But Reiju is unfortunately not synergizing with powerhouse units. So if she maintained her powerhouse class, that would have actually been better for her synergy with Blackbeard. And remember, dot can stack. But regardless, level 6 for 25 seconds. And she does that. Oh wait, no. All enemies get that dot. And then when they get dots, which most units are not resistant to dots, so the only way the enemy is not getting this dot is if they're running Caesar or the Sanji and Reiju units to give dot evasion. So most people will get affected by this dot. They'll get level 6 defense down for 25 seconds as well. And then medium range AoE spread damage of 6.6x. I mean, bro, what are we doing here? She's also giving herself interval healing. So she is definitely the unit you put in that middle slot. She's tanking so much damage while healing. Oh my goodness, bro. Like, I just can't believe it. And then in Assault Rumble, she gives 30% CT to your Quick and Royalty and Straw Hat teammates. In Assault Rumble, I dare say I wouldn't say she's a must, because remember, dot does not work in Assault Rumble. But these debuffs for defense down especially is always going to be good. But remember, yeah, it's weird because that CT reduction is so powerful. I guess the reason they didn't that they actually gave us such a massive ability for 30% CT is that the rest of the kit isn't really suited for Assault Rumble, because remember, you only get the defense down when the enemy gets dot, and in Assault Rumble enemies are always resistant to dot, so that defense down will not happen either. But regardless, I mean, that's a cool added effect in Assault Rumble, but this is easily a strong enough special by itself. You don't need this unit. She's not a Assault Rumble merchant. You don't need her just for Assault Rumble, right? Overall, I am thoroughly impressed. I just really am disappointed that she doesn't synergize with a lot of the other dot-based units in the game. Yes, you can use her with Caesar. That's still a great option. But at the end of the day, I'm still gonna be using this unit very often on my quick team. I think she has earned her role. I mean, she's doing so much for the team. I'm gonna put her on my 12th any Blackbeard team, that's for sure, and I will showcase that, and I will enjoy showcasing that. I have her maxed at level 150. I don't think I'll give her a rumble key. I definitely wouldn't be that hasty, especially with a lot of other units coming out that will definitely want you to use a rumble key, but for now, definitely a contender for the quick free spirit team that Loki will end up on, especially with his royalty tag. Reiju, amazing special, amazing super special, added support in the form of former royalty tag, and PvE stuff is incredible debuffing, unbelievable game-changing buffs at insane levels for very impactful mechanics like defense and speed, while giving heavy debuffs, the strongest debuffs in my opinion in the game. Massive defense down, dot, which can shred through enemy HP. Let me just quickly check though, does she do the spread damage after the defense down? Surely, man. Hopefully. Remember, spread damage doesn't go through defense. Yeah, she first gives defense down and then the spread damage. Amazing. Tanky as well, man. Yeah, Reiju's amazing. Leave your thoughts in the comments. I do think this unit will be a beast alongside the 12th new Blackbeard and the eventual Loki release, but also with current units like Nika Bonnie. Unfortunately, they both provide conditional boosts. And the way that Nika Bonnie works, you can't get the second conditional boost and or the ability to stack conditional boost and then use Reiju, because if you're stacking conditional boost, this unit gives both of them already, so you don't need Reiju to run alongside this unit. Either way, I love that this unit delays the enemy, because then Reiju poison can actually do its thing against the bosses that don't have HP cut restriction mechanics, right? So treasure map, of course, Kizuna doesn't allow you to use HP cuts, but there will be some situations that could be cool to play with, right? And they both give despair reduction, so there's a bit of conflict here, I guess. But I'll see you guys in the next one. Leave your thoughts, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace. I'm out.